The Career Readiness Test is a psychometrically valid test designed to measure the domains of the graduate capital model. The graduate capital model is made up of 5 domains. So we've got the social capital, the human capital, cultural capital, identity capital and psychological capital. The test allows students to assess themselves in each area, and then they can use the results and the feedback that's generated from the test to identify areas of further development. Questionnaire design and validation is an area that I teach to my psychology students, so I became involved in the project from that point on, being involved in the design and psychometric validation of the test. So to ensure that the test was reliable, we ran a pilot study. So we asked 200 to 300 students to complete the test. We then statistically analysed the data using a technique called exploratory factor analysis. And what this does is it kind of crunches the numbers to give us a sense of what the underlying structure and underlying constructs are of the test. Once we knew what the structure was, we could then test the internal reliability of the test. This involved a technique called Cronbach's alpha. This looks at how well each item contributes to the overall reliability of the test. The pilot data showed us that basically the maths tied up with the theory. So we identified that there were 5 distinct individual domains, and these domains matched up nicely with the graduate capitals. Some of these were made up of subscales, so the social, human and cultural capitals were each made up of 2 smaller subscales within them, whereas the identity and psychological capital were single factor domains. So there was 1 or 2 items that we needed to remove because they didn't fit well mathematically with the other items in each domain. Some of these we left out altogether, and others we decided to keep in but as independent items, so they didn't contribute to the overall total of the scale. It would be good to use the Career Readiness Test to incorporate into the student experience. One way to do this will be for students to monitor their progress throughout different time points during their course, or perhaps look at how things have changed after they've done some particular training or work experience. It can also be used by staff to audit and map the contents of their employability support against the graduate capital model. We're currently in the process of carrying out further research to see if career readiness is related to things like student mental health, protected characteristics and socio-economic factors. If they are related, it will help us to identify areas and students who might be in need of particular further support.